Fuck him, then I get some money. Yeah. Fuck him, then I get some money. Yeah. Fuck him, then I get some money. Yeah. Fuck him, then I get. Hey guys, it's Mahogany. Welcome back to my channel, and today I am back with a new video. Today's video is gonna be an updated foundation routine. I get a lot of questions often on what foundation do I use, what concealer do I use, setting powder, setting spray, the whole nine. So this video is gonna be all about my foundation routine, the products I use to highlight, contour, all of that. But if you guys would like to see my foundation routine, then keep on watching. So let's get these braids out the way. So firstly, you want to make sure that your face is moisturized. Now, I have normal to oily skin. I'm normal, but I only get oily right here in the T-zone. So those are the areas that I like to add more powder and add more primer. But as far as moisturizer, I could really use anything. Like I like to use either cocoa butter or my Cetaphil moisturizer, which I don't have right now. But you can use anything to moisturize your face. As far as for dry skin, you want to make sure your face is very, very hydrated. And for oily skin, you don't want to overhydrate because, you know, they're opposite. So for me, I just apply just a regular amount of moisturizer or cocoa butter, whatever I'm using, and then I go in with my foundation after that. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't use primer like that. I'm not going to act like I do because I don't. Primer is not really a necessity for me. I mean, it doesn't really do anything extra for me. It's not something that's a part of my everyday routine. But for the sake of this video, I am going to be showing you guys what primers that I like. So we're going to start off with that first. And as you guys can see, my brows are already done off camera. I'm going to be doing an updated brow routine very, very soon. So keep a lookout for that. But anyways, back to primers. So these two primers are my favorites. This is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer, and this is the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer. So these two I love. I don't use them together. Like I said, I'm not really big on primer, but if I do decide to use one, I'll use them one at a time. I don't mix, okay? So for today, I'm going to be using this right here, which is the Fenty Beauty Primer, and I'm just going to put some on my hand, and I'm just going to place it everywhere, but I'm going to concentrate it on my nose and forehead because, like I said, those are the places where I get really oily. And I actually really like that primer. It works well with other foundations and not only the Fenty Beauty. And if you guys want to see my review on that foundation, that is up as well. I'll link that down below. I reviewed the primer and the foundation together. So if you guys like to check that out, I'll link that down below for you guys. So now that we're done with primer, I'm going to go ahead and color correct. So I have a few color correctors, but one that I really like in particular is the one that comes with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit. Is this one right here. I like to use the orange one right at the top in the center. Right here. So I like to use this one to color correct. I do have the LA Girl one. I don't really like it, but I've been loving this one a lot lately. So what I like to do is just use my fingers. I don't use a brush. I just rub my finger inside and dig out some. And then the areas that I want to color correct, I just apply with my finger. So of course, these right here. Boom. Right here. Right here. I don't really go crazy with the color correcting because, to be honest, when I apply my foundation, it cancels out the discoloration anyway, but it's really just an extra step, like, just to be on the safe side. But if you have, like, really bad hyperpigmentation, then you would want to color correct. But for me, it's not all that necessary. So you guys already know what the next step is, and that is foundation. So for foundations, I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of foundations that I really, really like. Being that I do get oily, I try to stay away from stuff that is like really dewy, but I do like the dewy look at the same time, and I don't like to look super, super matte. So I kind of, you know, go back and forth with foundation. So these right here are literally my top 3 foundations. So this is the NARS Luminous Weightless in the color Dark 1. I love this. This is a little too dark. So if I use it by itself, but then I can use it by itself, and once I highlight and contour, you know, it'll all go together. But I do like to mix it with the MAC. I don't usually use this alone unless I'm going for like unless I'm going for like a makeup, no makeup look, I might just put this on and that's it, which is very rare because if I don't want to wear makeup, I'm just not going to wear it. So these two together are bomb. This by itself, I could wear it alone, but it's just a tad bit too light. But once I contour, it'll all blend together. And the same for this one. This one is a little too dark, but once I highlight, it all goes together. But these two together are amazing. So if you are like me and you get like a little oily in certain areas and you don't like to look too matte, because this is a matte foundation and this is full coverage, and this is light to medium, but you can build it. But this is light to medium. So if you like that, you know, dewy look, but not too dewy and not too matte, this is the perfect combo. So this is the MAC Studio Fix Fluid in NC47. And like I said, this is the NARS Luminous Weightless in dark 1. So these two together are amazing. Now this right here is the Fenty Beauty in the color 410. This is very matte. So when I'm using this, I like to add a little bit of illuminator, which is right here. This is the NYX Liquid Born to Glow Liquid Illuminator. And this is in the color Pure Gold. I really love this together. So sometimes this alone could be too matte. So I like to take my illuminator and I like to mix these two together. And if it's a little too matte, still too matte, because, you know, I like to mix it on my hand, I'll take 1 pump of this Pro Filter primer by Fenty Beauty, mix that with the foundation, and I'm good to go. So for today, I'm going to be using this combo. I love this combo for, like, you know, if I'm going out or just anything. I love these two together. Like, these two together are amazing. I'm going to link these two foundations down below as well because I just love them. So for all of you guys that are asking me what foundation I use, I'm probably have on this, or I might have on my Fenty Beauty, or I might have on my Maybelline Better Skin, but I'm going to save that for another video because I am going to be doing a drugstore makeup routine, which I did do a while back, but I'm going to be doing an updated one. So stay tuned for that. That will also be featured in my drugstore routine. So this foundation is very liquidy, so you definitely want to shake it before applying it. And I'm just going to apply some on the back of my hand. Now I'm going to take this MAC foundation, and I don't have the pump for it, so when I'm applying this, I like to be very careful. So that right there is a perfect amount. You might not be able to see it. I'm going to take my brush from Morphe. I love to use this brush to apply foundation, and I just like to spray it with some Fix Plus. I always do this whenever I'm using a brush or a beauty blender to apply my foundation, so just a little tip. So now I'm just going to take my foundation. Done applying my foundation with my brush, I always like to go back and blend out with my beauty blender. So make sure you get a clean beauty blender and make sure that your beauty blender is damp no matter what. Don't try to blend out your makeup with a dry beauty blender because I'm telling you, it's not going to be a good idea. So I just like to take it and blend and remove any excess foundation. But before I go ahead and do this, I like to let it sit for maybe a minute, just to let it, you know, melt into the skin. Then I like to go on top, which is what I'm doing now, and just remove any excess foundation. Okay, so I just removed all the excess foundation. Now, one thing, I don't know if you guys noticed, when I apply my foundation, I don't really apply it underneath my eyes. See, like this whole area has no product, and that's where the concealer comes in. You don't want to apply foundation under your eye and then have to go over it with concealer when you're ready to highlight and contour, because then it's going to be too heavy. So that's just another tip for you guys. So when you're applying your foundation, avoid the under eye area. That's what your concealer is for, okay? That's just my preference. I never apply foundation under the eyes. So now we're jumping into contouring. I'm going to take the Black Opal foundation stick and I'm going to use this to contour. So what I like to do is take this brush from Beauty Professionals. I like to rub it on top of the foundation stick and then apply my contour. So now onto concealer. I'm going to be using my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the color Warm Honey. I like to go back and forth between this and my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, but today I'm going to be using this. Okay, so here I'm just going to be applying concealer to the areas that I want to highlight, which is underneath my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, and my forehead. Sometimes I do my chin, but not really. And some people like to apply concealer underneath their contour, but I personally don't highlight there. So now to blend out my contour, I'm going to be taking this brush from Urban Decay. I don't know the name of it, but I will have a link down below. And I'm going to take the opposite side, spray it with some Fix Plus as usual. And I'm going to go ahead and blend this contour out. Okay, so now that we're done blending out our contour, I'm going to go ahead with my Beauty Blender and blend out my highlighted areas. Okay, so as you guys can see, I am blending out my concealer with the same side of the Beauty Blender that I used to blend out my foundation. Now also be sure that when you're blending out your concealer under your eye, I like to turn the Beauty Blender around to the bottom and blend out the corners. That way you cannot see any lines of demarcation where the concealer stops. Okay, you guys, so now that this is all blended out, it's time to set our face. Now, it took me a while to find a really good setting powder. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna tell you guys what works for me. I'm telling you, I've been using this one product for like the last 2 years. I try to, switch and, branch out, use other shit, but I always find myself coming back to this one product, and I think y'all already know that. For those of you that watch a lot of my videos or all of my videos, you guys know I'm always using the same setting powder for my under eyes, and that is my Airspun translucent powder. This is my baby right here. So this is the Airspun translucent powder, and this is the translucent extra coverage one, because they have different ones. I don't know if you guys can see the words, but whatever. So I like to use this under my eyes. Well, you can use it all over if you like, but I mainly use it on the areas that I highlight. So what I like to do is take my Beauty Blender. Everyone has different techniques on what products they like to use to set their face, as far as, foundation, powders, and brushes, whatever tools you want to use. I set with my Beauty Blender. So you guys see this side, this is the same side that I use to blend out my foundation and blend out my highlighted areas. This opposite side right here has no product on it. So I like to take my MAC Fix Plus, okay? Take my powder right here, shake some out. Okay, so it doesn't let out a lot of product, but it just enough comes out, just enough that I need. So it's not too yellow, but it's not too pink. It's literally perfect for me. Like, I don't get any flashback or anything. But if you do OD, you might get some flashback. Because when I first started using this, I was like, I got a little flashback. But after a while, once I trained myself on how to use it properly, this is my baby. So be sure that before you set your under eye, you go back to make sure you don't have any creasing. So I like to just go back under my eye and make sure everything is set and blended and no creasing. And then I like to go back and apply my powder, which is what I'm going to be doing now. So I just take some, blow away the excess. Okay, so now that I have applied my powder, I'm not into the whole baking thing, but I do like to let it sit for maybe a few minutes depending on, the routine that I'm doing. So for the sake of this video, I am going to let it sit for just a few minutes. But now the next step that we're going to be doing is setting our contour. So always keep this in mind. Always set cream with powder. So if you apply a liquid foundation, you want to set it with powder. You just apply, see how I just applied liquid concealer? I just set it with powder. Same goes for your contour. This step is optional, but I highly recommend it. So I'm going to be taking my Black Radiance contour palette. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't really feeling this in the beginning, but I do like it. It takes a little bit of getting used to because the product is very powdery. So when you're going in with this, you want to apply a light amount of it. So this is what it looks like. This is a little too dark and this is obviously too light. So I like to mix these two together. I'm using the same brush that I used to blend my cream contour. I'm just using the opposite side. And like I said, I don't know the name of this brush, but this brush is really good. I got it at Nordstrom Rack. It was about $15, so I'll definitely link this below. So I just like to mix these two together. Blow off the excess. And there we go. Okay, so now my next step is to remove this under eye powder. You don't want to leave this here too long, especially if you have dry skin. You want to like remove it right away. I only like to leave it sometimes like in the nose area because like I said, I get oily on my nose, so that's the only reason why I like to let it sit for a little while. And I just used this brush from I think I got this at Marshall's, and this brush is great. I've had it for like 3-4 years and it was only like between $5 and $8. This is the best powder brush I've ever used. So as far as setting my foundation, I have 4 powders that I absolutely love. I love some more than others, but this step is crucial to making your makeup stay all day. Besides, you know, setting spray and all that, you want to make sure your face is set, okay? So the 4 powders that I want to show you is, this is the first one. This is the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Dark, and I've been using this for so long and I really do love it. Like I'm really funny with products. Like I can use something for a while, then I might fall off, then I might go back. But this I always end up going back to. So I really love this. The next thing I have here is the Sephora Micro Smooth Powder. This is very lightweight, but I do love this as well. But I do wish that it was just a little thicker, but I love this. And last but not least is this Makeup Forever powder, and I absolutely love this. So this is what we're going to be using today. And this is a dual matte powder. So I'm going to take that brush, dip it in, and just apply it to my face. I'm applying it underneath the contour. Well, I'm really applying it all over, but these are the areas that I'm focusing on. And I'm not going underneath my eyes with it because I want to keep this area light. And this powder is the same color as my face, so if I go under my eyes with this, it's gonna darken my highlight, if that makes any sense. So the next step that we have is optional, and it is blush. A lot of people don't like blush, and in my beginning stages of makeup, I absolutely hated blush. But now I love blush. You just have to find something that goes with your complexion, and I'm telling you, it'll make a big difference to your makeup. So when you're applying blush, I'm going to be applying this Wet n Wild blush. I think I saw Aaliyah's face using this, if I'm not mistaken, and it looked so pretty on her, so I went and bought one. It was like $2 or $3 at Rite Aid or Doing Reed, wherever I got it from. So I like to apply my blush with this MAC 127 brush, and I just apply a small amount. And you want to make sure it blends super seamlessly into your contour. You don't want to just have blush here, contour here, highlight here. Like, you want it to all flow together. That's the key to makeup. You want everything to just blend. So contour is here. This area is going to be for highlight, and I'm applying my blush right to the apples of my cheek, but I want it to blend with the contour. And everyone's different. Everyone applies, you know, their stuff in different steps. I apply my contour, then my blush, then my highlight. Some people apply their contour, their highlight, then their blush. It's all up to you, but I'm just showing you guys what I like to do. Okay, and I like to just blend it upward. So now the next step, which is my personal fave, is highlight. So I'm going to be taking this brush right here. This is a Sephora Pro Flawless Airbrush, and I'm going to be using this to apply highlight. This brush can be used to do multiple things. You can use it to contour, you can use it to blend, whatever. But I like to use this for highlight. So I'm just going to take my handy dandy Fix Plus and my highlighter, which is the MAC Global Glow. and I like to just press it in. And when I see potential, I just gotta see it through. If you had a twin, I would still choose you. I don't wanna rush into it if it's too soon, but I know you need to get done if you come over. Sorry if I'm way less friends. So now, last but not least, this is the very last step to my foundation routine, and that is setting spray. You always want to make sure you set your face. So I'm going to be using Fix Plus by MAC, as you guys already know. I've tried multiple setting sprays. I've tried the Mario Badescu. I've tried NYX. It was okay. I used the Victoria's Secret one back in my old like beginner makeup days. But I always found myself coming back to my MAC Fix Plus. Now, I do like to use 2 setting sprays, and the other setting spray is this Urban Decay All-Nighter setting spray. I don't like this by itself because I feel like it gives me that luminous look that I like. But I like to spray some of this first and then go over it with this. So I'm going to be taking my MAC Fix Plus and I'm going to be spraying it everywhere. Then I like to let this dry, and then I like to go back with my Urban Decay All-Nighter spray. Sorry you guys, I forgot to do an outro, but this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something. I hope it was very informative. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye you guys.